Welcome to Idea and Concept for Animation. In this class, student explore the pre-production stage of animation and digital painting skills by emphasizing the importance of color and image composition of figure, landscape and still life through various medium and techniques via digital. I present to you the audio storytelling by our Year 1 student on their synopsis through concept art poster. 12 students exhibit their work.
The Famished Wolf.
In medieval-era forestry, there was a werewolf who lived there and was looking for food. One day, the wolf stumbled upon a wandering knight in the woods and thought of how he would be able to have a decent meal after quite a while. He started thinking of using a bear claw to trap the wandering knight. After a few trials of traps and tricks he made, he ended up failing in each. He then started to feel weak as he had nothing to eat for days. The werewolf has losing the will to think and start charging towards the wandering knight. Jumping out of the foliage of the forest with a growl has shocked the knight. The knight then started to bring out his mace to defend against the werewolf. As that has happened, the werewolf's stomach started to grumble and the knight realizes that the werewolf was just hungry from malnutrition. The wandering knight then shared his food with the werewolf and a friendship was formed after.
Flying without wings.
Meow is a cat that was raised by a family of birds. Growing up with adopted siblings, Nene, Sun, and Ruby, he eventually feels left out due to the fact that he is different from his siblings. Despite being born from an egg, Meow does not resemble any bird species at all. Because of this, he often feels out of place whenever he plays with them. One day, the feeling of inferiority became so bad, it pushed Meow to wish for a pair of his own wings. While strolling in the village, Meow discovered an advertisement that promotes a witch service. On the ad, it says that there is a witch that could create any kind of potion. Meow snatches the ad and hurries home, wanting to prepare to leave as fast as possible. Not caring about his siblings' warnings, he ventures deep into the dark forest to search for the witch. Along the way, he faces all kinds of trials, almost losing his life at some point.
The Kampung. The Kampung is a story about Putri Ayu and his brother Tua. Their goal is to find water sources from the well. However, they find out that all the wells are empty. They're wandering around the kampung and accidentally get into a restricted area in the deep forest. Later, they find a well surrounded by crystal creeks. When Putri Ayu tried to approach the well, suddenly a big creature known as Sang Jenggala, the guardian of the crystal creeks, appeared to prevent Putri Ayu from touching it. Putri Ayu used her silat technique to fight Sang Jenggala. However, Putri Ayu lost to the creature. When Sang Jenggala tried to kill Putri Ayu, Tuah came to protect his sister. Sang Jenggala is emotionally moved by the strong relationship from the siblings. He then stopped the fight and let Putri Ayu take the water from the well. The end.
(3609).
Somewhere in the alternate future, every public country in the one area of Middle East rise after their people fought over for independence for nearly a century. However, their independence is obtained after long negotiations for other country federation. However, some people are not liking the way their leaders maintaining order of the country and spark a rebellion. The leader asked for help from some other countries, and those countries sent automated drones that end up worsening the situations, leading the destiny to set up an unexpected confrontations between the two characters and the background story finally unveiled.
Bottled.
The story is about a fantasy world where everyone stores their feelings inside a bottle. Bright colors represent that the person is in a good mood. Meanwhile, dark colors represent that the person is having negative feelings such as sadness, loneliness, and even disappointment. This world is inhabited by witches and wizards. Ivy is the main character of the story, a young witch with black hair who has a trouble in expressing her feelings to others, which makes her bottle become dark. She is desperate to release her feelings, but there is no one willing to help her. All her classmates and schoolmates ignore her, acting like she does not exist, and they also make fun of her. Later, she meets Aubrey, a bright girl with yellow braided hair. Aubrey is the only person who is willing to help her.
Taming Sukma.
Cerita ini mengisahkan tentang seorang pemuda yang bernama Badang. Ia bermula di mana pada suatu hari, Ketua Kampung Ayam Berendam bercadang telah tiba masanya untuk dia mencari seorang pengganti sebagai Ketua Kampung yang baharu. Oleh itu, sebuah pertandingan pemilihan bakal Ketua Kampung diadakan di Pasar Mega di kampung mereka. Pada hari pertandingan itu juga, kebetulan Badang sedang berada di sekitar Pasar Mega tersebut. Badang yang tidak mengetahui akan pertandingan itu mula berasa hairan apabila terlihat sekumpulan orang kampung sedang berkerumun di satu sudut pasar itu. Sedang dia mengintai apa yang sedang berlaku, tanpa disedarinya, datang segerombolan peserta lelaki berpusu-pusu masuk ke tempat pertandingan dari belakang dan secara tidak sengaja terheret Badang sekali bersama. Tanpa diketahuinya, pertandingan tersebut bakal mengubah sisi hidupnya yang tidak pernah capai di akalnya.
Viewfinder.
Viewfinder is a story about Haru, a curious girl who ventures into the mountains for her quest to see more about the world she lives in and about finding herself. In her quest, she finds the beauty of the surrounding below the mountains and the mysterious creatures that lives in it. She encountered a few setbacks. At the same time, she uncovered her story little by little in her quest. Slowly, she understood the meaning behind the message that was given by her late mother that was left for her. In the end, she finds herself on top of the mountain and found things that are well beyond her expectations.
Prey.
The story Prey is about a Palestinian girl named Mala who has been surviving alone in a war zone, and she seeks for companionship. One day, she meets a stray black cat when she goes outside to fill in some water from the heavy rain. Out of sympathy, she gives the cat some of her water. As Mala is about to pet the cat, it becomes defensive and leaves its spot to show that it is uninterested with her. Mala begins to follow the cat's whereabouts and even tries to play with it throughout the journey. Tagging along with the cat has led her to a military base, and the cat had faced some trouble when it was caught by a soldier for stealing his lunch. Mala quickly involves herself to save the cat when she witnessed the soldier's brutality of hitting the cat. As she successfully grabs the cat, the soldiers start to chase after them and eventually begins to shoot when he is about to lose track of them. The soldier finally caught up with them when Mala had fallen due to a bullet slice at the side of her body. When the soldier is about to kill Mala and the cat with his gun, he abruptly receives a forewarning from his officials through his security earpiece and immediately evacuates from his current location. Mala only then discovers that a bomb is striking towards them, but they manage to bolt out before being bombarded. In the end, they both survived from the explosion, and this unpredictable event had finally bonded their friendship.
Healer.
A young daughter, Anne, is taken by a masked elf, Will, to another world, Elf Kingdom. She was requested to cure the wounded villagers on the last war. Once both enter the Elf Kingdom through the portal, Anne immediately rescues them. However, Anne gets stuck to escape because Will always keeps his eyes on her. Being depressed, Anne insults the villagers. She threatens them to jump off a cliff at the edge of the palace. Suddenly, Anne slips and falls. Will immediately rescues her with his wings. After that, he keeps his promise to send Anne back to her world after finishing the request. The next day, Anne and Will went to the palace to open the sealed throne room. There was an Excalibur, a sword stuck in a rock that could bring Anne back to her world. However, Will failed to pull Excalibur. Anne tried to pull away and suddenly the portal opened. Some sceneries happened after the portal was opened. At that moment, Anne looked back with a sad face. Will smiled bitterly, watching Anne enter the portal. After the portal was closed, he saw the sword with the carved words, "Only a pearl heart can free Excalibur," which belongs to Anne.
Daria.
In the Forbidden Forest, an elf named Daria who lives in a hut with her sick mother who suffers from a rare illness, and thus it makes Daria remember the story her mother once told her. It was about the secret river that can cure any kind of illness. Then, Daria's journey to search for the secret river began, and it was not an easy task. She faced many hard challenges along the way to the secret river. Daria finally saw the river, but she was disappointed that the river was not what she imagined in her mind. She thought that she had already proved her worth by facing the challenges, but Daria was still happy with her discovery of finding clean water. She was about to collect the water, but soon she heard someone crying for help. She searched for the source and shocked to know that it was the spirit, Dewdrop. Then she got a mixed feeling of surprise and joy as the story about the secret river was real. The spirit rewards her with the water, and Daria was happy because finally she can bring the water back to her mother.
Tale of an Artist. A story about anthropomorphic lizard named Izzard, lizard with a brush on its tail tip, with arrogant and grumpy attitude. One day, Izzard bumped into a frog named Kaitak when walking around in the Shroomish city, and causing Izzard tripped and being hit by a car. Due to the accident, Izzard lost the brush on its tail tip and started to become depressed day by day. Kaitak feels responsible for the accident and came visiting Izzard every day. By encouraging Izzard, and unknowingly, they started to get along.
Break.
The story began when a transferred student named Aptos, who was struggling to beat his foe, Ruby, in an arm wrestling match, even though his physical attributes are well above average. Unexpectedly, Aptos broke his left arm in the process and collapsed on the floor. Because of that, he was put in a coma. After he woke up, he immediately realized that he had entered a different world from what he used to, and he also noticed that his left arm was gone. As Aptos was walking around to find out where he was, he came across an old man. The old man had explained to Aptos where he was. he began his journey in the Kingdom of Lands, where he signed up to become an adventurer. As he was leveling up steadily, he found a quest to defeat an evil monster. There was a bunch of reward, one of which is the prosthetic arm. To obtain the prosthetic arm, he must first defeat the evil monster, Lich. Lich is a shape-shifting creature that guards the prosthetic arm. In the final battle, Aptos fought with all his might to defeat the Lich monster. After many attempts to beat Lich, finally, he successfully defeated the monster. The prosthetic arm was located inside a small shrine at the end of the cave.